everybody. Today we are talking about February planetary news. It's a complex month. The planets are throwing everything at you. There is the Sun Saturn combustion. There is Mars Venus planetary war, endless planetary war. There is Kal Sarpa yoga and other things, making it very complicated. And as the month ends, all the planets gather together in two signs. So let us explore. Hello, everybody. We are talking about February planetary news. So do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Also, the last reminder to you about my conference on Saturn, online conference, fabulous conference, international speakers. There are 25 speakers over 4 days. And so it's a deep dive, and it's a perfect solution when planets are complex to study, to gain knowledge. And I will also be lecturing there, but many other speakers as well. So go on my website, komilla.com. And so we go to February. Now, the most important thing to remember about February 2022 is that planets are throwing all kinds of challenges to us. And sometimes these challenges will come in the form of political crisis. It can come in the form of weather patterns. It can come in the form of just general irritant things happening. And some of you may also experience it in their personal lives. Of course, each chart is different. What we have to be conscious of when planets are complex and difficult is that we are being patient, we are being restrained, and if we can, put things forward and don't have to make decisions, then that is also a good thing to do, because all these planets are creating a very complex February for all of us. And the thing is that how we are dealing with it. So that is, and over the years, I have found in my personal experience and what I'm told by many of my students, clients, YouTube people, all of you who are following me, that when they are conscious of these energies, then their experience is not as challenging as if we are not conscious of. And the big thing with astrology is awareness, because when you're aware, then it makes life a lot easier to deal with. So in February, there are some key aspects that we have to understand. One is the big Mars-Venus war. Then Kal Sarpa, twice we will have Kal Sarpa, Sun-Saturn conjunction. Saturn becomes overly dominating in February. Now, I have made separate videos about Mars-Venus conjunction. I have a separate video about Saturn's extraordinary dominance. So please do listen to them as part of this video as well, so that you get a bigger picture about what is happening. So let us first talk about the Kal Sarpa yoga. Kal Sarpa happens when all the planets are one side of Rahu Ketu. And because Jupiter, Saturn are in consecutive signs, Jupiter is in Aquarius, Saturn is in Capricorn, that means that they are either side of Kal Sarpa, one side. So therefore, it is easy once a year that when faster moving planets meet up, then Kal Sarpa happens. So basic aspect of Kal Sarpa is the imbalance, because Rahu Ketu, they freeze the other planets and one side of the chart has no planets, and therefore we have to try to keep balance. These are more psychological things. Suddenly something, we decide we'll take some action that has unexpected consequences. And this is more connected to the world. So we do with Kal Sarpa always watch the political situation, because it's very easy for the political situation to get out of control, and also for our own self also to watch for it. So from 1st of February, or while I'm recording also, Kal Sarpa is on, and up to 9th of February, Kal Sarpa is there. And then we will have 15 days of Kimadruma moon. That means moon becomes isolated. So that itself is also not such an easy aspect, because our mind is without any support, and we can think anything, and the thought process goes from one area to the other, and that becomes complicated. So then the next Kal Sarpa Yoga starts on 23rd of February, and it will be till 9th of March. These Kal Sarpas are carrying on till end of April. I made a separate video about that, so you can also study that as well. So because the Kal Sarpa is happening twice in this month, that means that the other issues are getting more highlighted and more insecure or unsettled. So the first conjunction is of Saturn, Sun. Now this is also known as a combustion. This is on 4th of February. The only planet that can bother Sun in these close conjunctions. Normally what happens is when a combustion takes place, then the other planet gets hidden behind the Sun, and Sun becomes all powerful. However, Sun-Saturn conjunction means that Saturn also has influence on the Sun, and this Sun-Saturn can make us feel very angry with the government, and in our individual life with those who are in authority, we can feel hard done by, and we have to stop feeling angry. You know, Saturn's anger is of frustration, and it is a bitter anger. And if we give in to these angry thoughts, it is not always very good for us. So we have to keep calm. And this Saturn is going to be under the shadow of the Sun. However, Sun coming next to Saturn also highlights Saturn issues, democracy, everybody has equal power, respecting all the people, not just having an ego. So these aspects also are very important during this time. Then we come to the Mars-Venus conjunction. I made a long video on it. Please watch that. But Mars-Venus are going to be in a planetary war. And this planetary war, normally Mars-Venus have a planetary war 2 days, 3 days. But this planetary war starts in Sagittarius, and it continues in Capricorn. They join together on 11th of February, and then they remain at the same degree. They keep on moving about a degree a day, and they remain at the same degree right up to 12th of March. And on 26th and 27th, first Mars goes into Capricorn, and then Venus goes into Capricorn. So this planetary war, usually they say Venus wins the war, but in my viewpoint, both signs will get affected. But it can make us feel agitated, angry. See, Sun-Saturn is also making us feel angry and frustrated, and then this planetary war as well. And then as we are moving, with this, especially the 4 signs ruled by Mars and Venus, they have to be conscious about how they are feeling, but others as well. I'll talk about how each sign gets affected by it later today. And so it is important to understand this is a very rare phenomena, and it has happened because Venus has gone direct. It is retrograde, it goes direct, and it's very slow moving. Normally Venus travels 1 degree a day, whereas now Venus is traveling half a degree a day, just like Mars travels. So Mars, Venus, once they get together, it's very difficult to separate them till Venus gathers its speed. So, this conflicting energy is there with Mars, Venus. And then finally, if we were not facing enough things, end of February and early March, all the planets go into two signs. Rahu Ketu are not taken into this, but we have planets in Aquarius and in Capricorn. Now, Sun will move into Aquarius in 12th, 13th of February. But it is the fact that, Moon comes there from 28th of February to 3rd of March. So this, 5 days approximately, very rare combination. It's called the Yuga Yoga. I'm making a separate video about that, so you can study that. But the Yuga Yoga, where all the planets are just in two signs. And so this also adds to the imbalance. We have the Kal Sarpa going on and the Yuga Yoga. Of course, that is almost definite. When Yuga Yoga is on, Kal Sarpa will be on. And so what to do about it is very important, because we have to understand that February is unsettled. So therefore, try to bring a settled program. So the common sense thing is, don't chop and change things. Try to have some planning. This is what I'm doing. This is what, if some difficulties come, challenges come, step back, think about it. Don't be in a rush to do things around this time, because it can easily imbalance you. And all signs, all people are affected, and therefore sometimes there can be a group thinking. Everybody's thinking in the same way, but we have to be wiser, and we have to think that we are being more restrained during February. How does it affect you? So we are looking at your moon sign and your ascendant. Aries, Mars-Venus war is taking place after 11th February for the rest of the month. Mars is in the 9th house. So actually the month starts quite okay, because Mars is in your 9th house of Sagittarius, and study, knowledge. But then after 11th February, it goes into a war, and it's a fire, water energy. Venus is water. Venus also represents relationships for you. It also represents money for you. So you are being very careful about not unnecessarily having arguments, fights. And if you feel this inner tension, inner stress, maybe do things, be more spiritual, do some study, and concentrate your energy on things other than being militant, aggressive, angry, those kind of things. Taurus, Venus is also in planetary war in February. Up to 11th of February, Venus is in Sagittarius. But for you, Sagittarius is your 8th house. So there is a sort of need for you, restlessness, need to make change. And this long transit of Venus, it was retrograde in Sagittarius. It's a long transit of Venus in Sagittarius. So therefore, there's a need for you to change, restlessness. And then the planetary war takes place. Mars rules your 7th house. So in the best scenario, it could be that you and your partner, spouse are on the same page and you are agreeing, but it can easily lead to conflict. So keep arguments down. Think about, prioritize. If it is definitely you want to discuss this, otherwise, defer it to after March. You may still think about those issues, but defer it to after March. I think the main thing is this, that you can feel very conflicted by this, and therefore how to handle it should be your planning. Gemini, Now, as far as Mercury is concerned, Mercury starts the month retrograde. It is in Capricorn, 8th house for you. It goes direct. It is close to Saturn. It doesn't conjoin with Saturn till 2nd of March, but, Saturn's influence is there, transformative change. You also feel the need to travel, to do something. So while the Mars-Venus conjunction is taking place largely in your 7th and 8th house. So again, Mars-Venus together in the 7th house can bring unnecessary dispute in relationships. Mercury being in the 8th house is a bit unsettled. So it is important to take care around this time. And February is one of those months that you are noting down and being conscious and analytical and deciding how you're going to deal with it. And so, you don't have the same issues as others in the sense that moon is changing every day. So every day it's in a different nakshatra, every 2 days it's in a new sign. So the time that you're watching for is 27th of February to 3rd of March, when moon is going to be in the Yuga Yoga, first in Capricorn, then in Aquarius. So all the planets gathering at that time, which is unsettled energy for you. Just being conscious of it, that your mind can be very insecure, unsettled, and especially the time when the Kimadruma Yoga is happening, which is 9th to 23rd of February, that the mind can be unsettled and outside, and that can affect you more than any other sign. So you can be making impulsive decisions. So I would say it is important to ground yourself, to be conscious of this very volatile time. Leo, you are coming up to a Sun-Saturn conjunction. This is every year a difficult one for you. As I said, usually when Sun is combusting other planets, Sun becomes more powerful. But when it is with Saturn, it is getting weakened, and Saturn is more democratic, looking at what public wants rather than what you yourself want. So it can dent your ego a bit. It is in the 6th house, so the obstacles become stronger for you. So I feel that you have to look at other points of view, other people's point of view. And if there are things at work or people are being aggressive towards you, you have to sort of not have that fiery reaction to it, to calm down and to take things easy. Sun moves into Aquarius, which is 7th house, which is to do with relationships. And this, all the planets gathering into signs are in your 6th house and 7th house. So it's opposition as well as partnership. And I think overall, it is a month to take care not to make any important decisions. For the Sun, things get better usually around summer of our northern hemisphere timing. But it is important to treat this month seriously and also to avoid any major conflicts if you can. Virgo, Mercury is in Capricorn. And for Virgo, actually, because Mercury is in your 5th house, it is a much easier energy than other signs, I would think. Mercury does go direct beginning of February, 3rd of February, and it doesn't have a conjunction, and a gathering of planets mostly are taking place in your 5th house and 6th house. So 5th house is creativity, ideas, but 6th house is opposition. And I would say doing some karma yoga, supporting people, giving back to society, this would be a good thing for you to do. Also think creatively, think of ideas, and there is going to be a Mercury-Saturn conjunction, but that is in March. But you have to think Saturn is saying patient, slow. That is the best thing for you to do. Libra, again, this month, with the Mars-Venus conjunction in February, from 11th of February, Venus is yourself, Mars is relationships for you. Mars also rules your second house of money, and Venus rules 8th house of change. So you've got to be cautious. And I think the main thing is the inner aggravation. They call antardvand. It's sort of the inner thing that you feel aggravated, unsettled. So keeping your life as simple as you can, that is, I would say, the thing for February. There are lots of things happening and you have to think of it as outside noise. Don't try to engage in negative thinking. Now, each one of you has to decide what is negative, but you have to have some idea that this is not worth my while to engage and argue. And if partners are being contentious, then, you think, okay, how do I deal with it? And not to immediately react. Mars, Venus in the 3rd house, then they go into the 4th house. And it is the end of the month where all the planets are just in 2 signs. For you, that is 4th and 5th house, not so bad, but it is just the overall atmosphere that is challenging. So you have to try to navigate that. Scorpio, Mars, Venus, again, it affects you. Venus rules your 7th house. Venus also rules 12th house of expenses, and Mars rules your 6th house. So it's a complex Mars-Venus conjunction. They're taking place in Capricorn, which is your 3rd house of self-effort. So you want to take some action. You want to do things, yet it's not a good time to do things. You are also conflicted. People are trying to over-influence you. So be very careful and cautious, and then you can have a good month. And then all the planets gathering in your 3rd and 4th house. Self-effort, confidence, 4th house, home. Kal Sarpa is also taking place. Ketu is in your ascendant, Rahu in the 7th house. So it's a very imbalanced month. And your big thing is that slow, steady, take your time. Don't make any big decisions or impulsive actions. Sagittarius, Jupiter is in Aquarius, your 3rd house. It is not really having any conflict itself. It is with Saturn. It is part of this whole story. But I would say that you may not feel it that much. And it is just important to know all these things are happening. Other people may be feeling unsettled. As I said, weather can be unsettled, politics, just some world events. So you are being aware of these energies and not trying to push ahead any agenda in February. Capricorn, of course, Saturn is in Capricorn. A lot of drama happening in Capricorn in your ascendant or moon sign. So how to sort the wheat from the chaff. You've got to try to make sense of this. Of course, Saturn-Sun conjunction is taking place. That means you're a little bit burnt out. You have overdone things. It's a good time to take some time out to rest, to not also engage with people in authority. You'd feel that desperation. I must engage. I must get angry and tell them what I feel. But it's best not to do that. Spend some time on taking care of, number one, yourself, looking after yourself, doing something good for society. It's a feel-good factor. The gathering is in 1st and 2nd house. Money issues can be there. And, again, not to take any impulsive action during this time. Aquarius, again, Saturn is combust the sun. So you can also feel angry about authority, power. Now, these conjunction is happening in your 12th house. 12th house is foreign countries. It is also loss, expenses. So be careful about your expenses, what you want to do, and how you're going to deal with it. I think that is the most important thing. And give yourself some time out, relax, rejuvenate, keep life simple. And don't try to spend your way out of the problems. And of course, the end of the month with the imbalance and Kal Sarpa yoga, that is something all of us are taking care about. Pisces, Jupiter is in your 12th house in Aquarius. So 12th house is house of spirituality. It's also house of expenses. So I would say that it's a good idea not to overspend, but focus on spiritual things, to immerse yourself in that, do something good for somebody else. But Jupiter is actually not in any conjunction, and so you're really a witness to what is happening, and a lot of things are happening in your 11th house of Capricorn, which is house of profit. So you may be thinking about money, financial things. That's not a usual Piscean pursuit, but also the 12th house. And I would say keep it simple this month. Also think more spiritually, be in a giving mode, but to keep all the major decisions for later in the year. So that is it for today. Thank you very much. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. All the best.